the Missouri RINO Watch crew. Hey, it does work. You know, that still works. Actually, I'm on the wagon. I haven't been drinking.
Me too, man.
Right?
Dry 2025.
I don't know the whole year. I don't know if I'm going to make it the whole year.
Our producer is shaking
Especially if
his
the
head.
Chiefs win the playoff game, I'm going to have a little celebratory cocktail or whatever.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
But anyway, I'm Jason Aberson. We are here with the Rhino Hunter, my buddy Josh Lehman.
How you doing,
We're
everybody?
having a great time. We feel great tonight. We are just really super happy to be here with you guys. So make sure you like, subscribe, comment, say
Share.
some stuff on there. If you guys are watching,
Share.
who's out there? Well, I want to see the first comment. Who's going to be the first one to comment? Let's go. Let's go.
Jason.
Anyway, tonight's topics, we have the Senate committee chairs. We have the DEIB, diversity, equity, inclusion, and baloney. Hold on, Josh. Did they really add? I just learned this, guys.
Yeah.
I just learned this.
It's
they
actually
added
2
a
years.
B.
This is actually going to be something we're discussing from 2 years ago.
Is
Belonging.
it belonging?
Yeah.
Don't you guys want to belong?
Diversity,
You
equity,
guys can
inclusion,
belong right
belonging.
here with us.
Right. It's
You
just so
belong
ridiculous.
right here with us. So, and then we're going to talk about John Arnold and George Soros, the evil emperor, George Soros. The Blunts, puppet strings.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And of course, we're going to have a call to action for you guys. And guess what, guys? Today's Thursday, January
16th.
16th.
4 days.
More,
Really, 3.
really 3, because they're going to have an inauguration parade.
Yeah. There's going to be a ball.
What's he up to?
There's going to be a rally.
He's up to something.
The 19th, there's going to be a ball. Shout out to some of our Patriots. Allie's going to the ball. And Dusty Blue's going to be at the inauguration. Oscar Harrell with Show Me Sentinel is going to be at the inauguration. So we're going to have some Patriots boots on the ground, and they are going to be reporting on it. They're going to be doing some coverage and whatnot, but pretty awesome.
Very
to be able to
cool.
go to that. Yeah, it's
Very
fantastic.
cool. I wish I could go.
Me too.
I'd really love to be there. But okay, buddy. Well, okay. Who did we got? Dusty Blue's on.
There's
Yo,
my man.
Dusty!
What's up,
Shout out to
Dusty?
you, brother.
Right on,
and our
brother.
brother Tom Norris is watching.
Yeah, all
So,
right, Tom. Wait to
love
see
you
buddy.
guys, man.
I haven't seen you
We
guys in a
love
couple
you guys.
weeks, man.
Thank you so much. Make sure to like, and don't forget we're on YouTube and Rumble and
X.
as well. So
And
if you're watching
Facebook,
from
right.
Facebook, which I hope you are, because then I can see your comments.
Right.
Anytime you're watching live, guys, we really want you to be on Facebook because I will be watching the comments, and we can do shout out questions to Josh, or if you have some for me, whatever. But Josh is the star of this show. So
You know, now that we're talking about this, so I was talking to Scuba last time, and he said that he wasn't allowed to chat. Yeah, it says chat, no one. Why can't I change this?
Oh,
Allow
really?
viewers to comment, select who is able to participate. It won't let me do it. Do I need to? Well, that's dumb. I guess I messed up and launched it already, and I shouldn't have. I apologize. Everybody on X, you can't. That's weird.
Huh.
Yeah. Anyways,
So,
sorry.
shout out to Show Me Sentinel. Show Me Sentinel. So who's on the other end of that Show Me Sentinel?
That's Oscar.
Oh, that's Oscar. Okay.
That's our.
What's up, buddy? Oscar's going.
Yeah, he's going to the inauguration
so
too.
that's-
Yeah, absolutely.
That's so freaking cool.
It's going to be awesome.
Congrats to you, Oscar. That's
Man.
so cool. Josh, I can't hear Jay Willie. I can't hear Josh in my headphones at all.
I can hear me.
I don't know why.
Huh.
Yeah, I can't hear him at
Can
all.
if you guys can't hear me, please let us know. You
Yeah,
guys
can you guys hear Josh?
remember there's like an 8-second
There we go.
delay. Okay. So what's going on? Was I off the whole time? No. Okay, good.
You could can you turn him down in my headphones at all? It's okay. I mean, it's not super loud. But.
Yeah. Okay, so
There we go.
Tonight is going to be, I think, a very good show because we're going to dive into some of the underbelly, if you will, in Jeff City. We're going to talk about, like it says, the DEIB, diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging. We're going to talk about some of the big special interest and how we're seeing it manifest. So because I've been doing these daily floor calendar videos. We're talking about legislation.
Yeah, those are awesome. If you guys haven't been watching those, make sure you go to that's on Missouri Rhino Watch on our page there.
Facebook and on X posting it. And I thought I was going to be able to get them out every morning, but I didn't realize I was going to have to do so much research on them.
Yeah.
And so they're getting out every day. But some of them are at 2 o'clock, some of them are at 6 o'clock,
Which
some of
is
them are at
fine.
9.
You know, I think most people are trying to just go back and watch the stuff anyway.
Well, and I'll get it scheduled. I've got a schedule down now that starting, so it's Martin Luther King Day on the 20th, which is cool. Trump's getting in on the same day. And so the legislature is shut down until Tuesday at 4 p.m. So I've got enough time that if I start the night before, because the schedule changes, when they close session, night before, I can get it all out, and it should be able to have it popping every morning now. Just had to figure out what that was going to look like. But
Cool.
The John Arnold, George Soros is a very important concept to understand so that you guys can see what's actually happening. It's really frustrating. But and then the Blunts, I want to make sure that everybody remembers who Roy Blunt really was, especially during the Trump administration, because he's getting all these accolades and praises as if he was this good guy, and in reality, he is nothing but the same old swamp. And then you'll see how his family has basically a pretty strong stranglehold on politics in Missouri through their consulting firm, lobbyists and such.
Okay.
And so before we get going into that, we want to make sure that we go through all of the first 3 amendments, or first 3 sections in Article 1 of our Missouri State Constitution, because we want to burn it into your mind of who you are as
burn it into my mind.
A Missourian. Yeah. So go ahead.
It really is important, and I found that repetition. It's funny you say that, because I've been seeing that on a lot of different podcasts where every week they do the same thing, and we're not going to do this every single week forever, but this
I don't know,
is
we might.
well, and maybe so.
Well, this is foundational. So go ahead.
It
You
really
read
is.
them out.
Okay, so this is Missouri Article 1. Subsection 1, that all political power is vested in and derived from the people, that all government of right or originates from the people, is founded upon their will only, and is instituted solely for the good of the whole.
Right. And one thing that people understand, the whole is the public. That's what that means. Everybody as a whole. Anyways, go ahead.
That all constitutional government is intended to promote the general welfare of the people, that all persons have a natural right to life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness, and the enjoyment of the gains of their own industry, and that all persons are created equal and entitled to equal rights and opportunity under the law, that to give security to these things is the principal office of the government, and that when government does not confer this security, it fails in its chief design.
And then last one, this is one of the most important, because this is where you all come in.
That the people of this state have the inherent sole and exclusive right to regulate the internal government and police thereof, and to alter and abolish their constitution and form of government whenever they may deem it necessary to their safety and happiness, provided such change be not repugnant to the Constitution of the United States. So these are this is the Constitution of the state. So every state has a constitution.
Correct.
As well as, of course, our national constitution.
Correct.
So our constitution, anything in the constitution, any articles in our state constitution cannot
Be in conflict. Correct.
cannot be in conflict with the United States Constitution.
Correct. And there's some things in there already that I think if challenged could probably struck down.
No, like the IRS.
Yeah. Well, I'm talking about in our state constitution that could be struck down in the Supreme Courts.
Oh, I
so
gotcha.
one thing that people overlook and miss all the time is Article 1, Section 2. And so it says the enjoyment of the gains of their own industry. There is a quote, I'll have to find it one day and put it on the show, but from Thomas Jefferson, where that is specifically meaning your property, right? And property can't be taxed, rights cannot be taxed.
Right.
Because if they tax them, then you're paying a fee. And now the government's giving you the right, and holding
Right.
it over your head. But in reality, who gave us the right? God did. Because God
Right.
created man, and then man created state. State creates its creatures, which are the agencies and the corporations and so on, right? So we're above that. our property, if it's not engaged in a regulated commercial activity, right, or something that you've gone to the government for and asked for a privilege to use on that property in order to gain an income, then there is no nexus, there's no connection to that state, and the state actually doesn't have the authority to tax you.
You mean even property tax?
100% property tax. It's gotten conflated because so there's two different types of laws in America. There's Roman civil law, and then there is common law. Okay,
right.
Common law is for the people. Common law comes from our historical heritage from England, right?
Right.
And the whole point behind it is it's based in principles. Right. So it's the governing principles of how everything else has to fit in. In other words, everything underneath that cannot come in conflict with those. So like basic example is natural rights. All laws will apply to me until they infringe on my rights, then they're not applicable to me. Right. And that's the way you understand it. So property tax is not illegal when it's done on places that have a situs, right?
Yeah.
And so that means like if our friend's chemical plant.
You're benefiting from some form of governmental.
That's why it's called voluntary taxes, because you volunteered to go sign up for this privilege that you know incurs a tax.
Gotcha.
It's not just like, that's why people going out talking about federal taxes are voluntary. Dude, no, they're not. Stop. Right? The Social Security is acting the same way. That Social Security number is the same concept as a franchise, right? Or an LLC or a privilege. And so because you have to get a job with your Social Security number, you have to open a bank with your Social Security number, you have to get a loan with your Social Security number. On paper, you are operating under a privilege, a franchise, which creates the tax situs, you see?
Yeah.
And it's also the reason why if I pay you $5 to take me down the road, that has nothing to do with the government, because it's in the private law.
Okay.
But if we come to an agreement that you're going to pick me up and I give you the $5 and you don't, I can sue you in private law court, right? So there's this difference between public and private law, and that's the same thing that's happening with our taxes. But everybody that's in the positions like the assessor, the collector, and everyone else, and especially their counselors, they don't understand that.
Yeah, because I don't remember signing up for anything for my property tax.
Right.
But so if I'm working for myself and I don't sign up to pay taxes, then it is voluntary.
No,
correct?
If
there's nothing there, right? Like if you don't sign up for a privilege, if you're not involved in some regulated, licensed opportunity, and license means permission. Sovereigns, does a king ask permission from its subjects? No. Is the government our subjects? Absolutely, right? We're the sovereigns. We don't ask for permission to do the things we have a natural right to do.
Right.
But it's become so confused, right, that they think everybody gets it. Right? They just they don't even do the assessments right.
You live in the state, so you got to pay. Right.
So to get back on track with what we're talking about. So this meme right here. So Josh, if you bring this up, this is the DEIB senators, the diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging. Okay.
Baloney.
So these Missouri Republican senators voted to keep DEIB in the public schools funded with taxpayer money. Okay. Now the leadership was Caleb Rowden. The rat is on his way out. He did not, he's termed out, and he decided he wasn't going to run for Secretary of State because he wasn't going to win. And then Cindy O'Laughlin is she was the majority floor leader. Now she's the pro tem. Now the people down below, this is the RINO posse. Okay. So these are the ones.
So what's a pro tem?
Pro tem means, they are the backup to the president. So the president of the Senate in Missouri or in state is the lieutenant governor. Okay. They preside over it, but when they're not there, the pro tem's there. Gotcha. Really, the pro tem acts as the leader of the Senate. Okay. But the president will preside over the whole thing. Okay. Right. Same concept for the Senate in the federal government. J.D. Vance is the president of the Senate. Yeah. But the pro tem will be whoever that leader is, and then you have the floor majority leader as well. So it's pro tem, floor majority leader, as far as the legislature having leadership.
All right, gotcha.
And so these people are the 100% the RINO posse, okay? So Burns Scoter, Justin Brown, Searpoint, Crawford, Fitzwater, Huff, I like to call him Ho.
These are all Republicans.
All Republicans. Well, they file as Republicans.
In name only.
And then, of course, you see old Tony Lutkemeyer down there, right?
Oh, Tony.
Yeah. So So this is what it says. You see, it says 2023 HB2, House Bill 2, meaning it originated in the House, came over to the Senate. A DEIB amendment was offered, and then these guys voted it down. Now, I will not show you anything like this until I go and vet it. So if we go to the next slide,
Okay.
here is the actual journal, okay?
Okay.
So you can go, guys, you can go to the Senate, you can go to the House, and you can go and search the journals. The journals are the minutes. It's the recorded notes of what happened. So if you see up here, this is Senate Amendment number 2, amend Senate substitute for Senate committee substitute of House. This is a lot of ways of saying we're going to just do this. We want to insert immediately after advertising the following or diversity, equity, inclusion, belonging initiatives and programs. What it's saying is the amendment was offered by Denny Hoskins, okay, who's now the Secretary of State. And
Denny.
it was to stop the funding of DEIB initiatives and programs, okay, from being appropriated in funds. So it was going to outlaw the DEIB from happening, okay?
Beautiful. Okay.
Now, Jay Willie, pop back up there real quick. Now, at the bottom, see, so this is what's interesting, too. So before this, let's just stay on this because I want to kind of go through the areas, right? So Senator Hoskins moved that the above amendment be adopted and requested a roll call vote to be taken. This is so important. This is how the Conservative Caucus, the Freedom Caucus, used to work. The reason they formed this stuff so they could expose what's going on. So they would have just done a voice vote, right?
Yeah.
And then it would have run under the table and nobody would have ever known.
Okay.
But because they motioned for a roll call vote, now it's a recorded vote.
Gotcha.
So now we have the opportunity to go back and report on it, right?
Gotcha.
So you can see that Bratton, Eigel, Moon, and Schroyer both stood up for that.
Champions.
Right. Well, I wouldn't say that about Schroyer. But and then on motion of Senator O'Laughlin, the Senate recessed until 10:05. Isn't that interesting? So so there was a vote before this, okay, and it was a little bit different language. And Lincoln Huff, he motioned and he said, "This is," he said, "Point of order. This is outside of the scope of this amendment." And then, of course, Caleb Rowden said, "Yes, that's true." So then Hoskins offers a different amendment where he slims it down a little bit more, pretty much the same thing. And then Cindy O'Laughlin calls for recess, right? So they recess, and what do you think they went and did? Communicated to each other, okay, who's going to vote against this and who's going to go vote for it? Because they know that they also have to have an appearance of republicanism. So a lot of the times they'll get together and they'll communicate and say, okay, I'm going to vote the Democrat way. We only need X amount to beat this. So that means all you guys can have cover and vote the other way.
Yeah.
Right?
You can look like Republicans.
Correct. So this is what's happening on this. But look down here, the nays. So the nays are the ones who said, no, we want to keep funding this. We don't want to outlaw DEIB in funding in our schools, okay? So our money going to pay for this garbage in our schools to brainwash our children, to make them think they're oppressed or oppressors, right? So it is Arthur, Beck, Bernskoder, Brown, Searpoint, Crawford, Fitzwater, Huff, Lukemeyer, May, Mosley, O'Laughlin, Razor, Rizzo, Roberts, Rowden, Washington, and Williams. Now, all the names that you heard, you will see on the next slide is who they are as far as the RINOs. But do you understand that everybody else, so it was a 14-18 vote, and it died? Because why? Because those RINO Republicans voted with the Democrats. There's not one Democrat in the yays. Not one, right? But there are all of the other Democrats are in the nays.
Right.
So our own leadership, Cindy O'Laughlin, who claimed to be this bastion of schools, the schools and education, all this other stuff, she gave Lauren Arthur the ability to put this massive omnibus bill. I think this was actually the same year where they brought it forth, had all kinds of garbage in it. She really showed her true colors that year, right? And that it secured her seat.
So the nays you're showing us, though, those are just Republicans.
No. The nays are the bad guys.
Well, I know, but they're
not all of them. So Arthur.
So there's some Democrats.
Yeah.
On
So
there
we'll
too.
go to the next. So go to the next screen. I'll go to the next screen. I'm telling Josh to move it, and I got it. So these are the leftists in Republican drag. These are the ones who voted for the DEIB 2 years ago. Okay.
Okay.
Now these pictures are also their announcements for their committee chair positions.
Okay.
All right. So they gave all these chairs. So Lincoln Huff is chairman of the Committee on Appropriations, giving money. Okay. This guy, Lincoln Huff, has the worst voting record, a conservative voting record in Missouri history. Okay. And then you have Bernd Scoter. It's same ilk, chairman of the Committee on Fiscal Oversight. So now they're going to audit how money is going to be done. He's in charge of it. Then you got Cindy Crawford, chairman of the Committee of Insurance and Banking. I'm sure that's going to be great. I'm sure he has some special interest there. Justin Brown, who's in the pocket of the blunts, right? Chairman of the Committee on Emerging Issues and Professional Registration. We're going to get to this later. But you see how it says emerging issues in professional registration? In other words, what is coming to the forefront, and then how are professional industries regulated? Is that not a great place to be for somebody who is propped up by special interest?
Yeah.
Right? Then you have Fitzwater. This guy is just whatever. He's new. He's a newbie, but he jumped right into the cesspool with everybody else. Chairman of the Committee of Transportation, Infrastructure, and Public Safety. Fantastic. And then old Luke Kamar, chairman of the Committee on Rules, Joint Rules, Resolutions, and Ethics.
Yeah.
Ethics.
Yeah.
Cindy O'Loughlin, chairman of the Committee on Gubernatorial Appointments. Isn't that awesome? So she chairs who's going to be the appointments from the executive. Fantastic. And then good old Mike Searpoint. This guy's absolute garbage.
Just to chairman make a quick, go ahead.
Chairman of the Committee on Commerce, Consumer Protection, Energy, and the Environment. Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just to make a point, what you said about Travis Fitzwater, how he just jumped right in. That's what you get with cheated voting.
Yeah.
Because he wouldn't have got to be a part of the club. He wouldn't even have got voted in if he wasn't already rubbing shoulders and scratching backs and
right. Well, he was recruited, right? I mean, that's really how it happens.
It is. When they control the vote, they recruit whoever they want.
Well, and what's crazy is they control it in multifaceted way. Okay, so not only the machines are corrupt or whatever,
right,
but also the committees and stuff. Like if they come in and they say we're running this guy, and they don't want to run a primary opponent, you only have two choices: a Democrat or Republican.
Yeah.
Right? So they put whoever they want in there.
We all vote Republicans, and we vote these guys
because we feel bad if we don't vote. And then we don't vote for a Democrat, right? Because they're going to wildly go after the
Which is why
things.
we're doing this show, guys. Right. This is why we're doing this show, because I don't know. I mean, this is only our third show. We're happy. We're so thrilled to be here. We're having a blast. But to reiterate, my position here is to be you guys. I want to represent you guys, and I want to try to soak as much information out of Josh as we possibly can, because we're all starving for information, and knowledge is power. So once we understand how these people work and their names, then we can start spreading that information to all the other people in our counties, at our committees, and helping them understand too, because if we don't immerse ourselves in this and at least try, but I don't think there's another show like this.
There isn't
really that's focusing on the
not
rhinos.
In Missouri.
Not in Missouri, no. Right? So, but focusing on the rhinos. So that's what we're trying to do. We really want to inform you guys, educate, expose,
engage.
So
forgot our taglines already.
That third one got me. But yeah. So you guys can be empowered with knowledge and understand who these people are.
That's why they've won so long, because we were ignorant that knowledge is power, and we didn't have any at all because we didn't have any knowledge. And but that's the thing. So the people that you just saw on the screen, right? Flip back to it real quick, Josh. These are the ones. You will see a consistent pattern. I promise you, the entire session of these people voting together with the Democrats, and they always want to blame. They always wanted to blame Eigel, right? They always said, "Well, he's just got an ego and he just wants to slow things down." Well, then why are you voting with Democrats?
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Like let's really get to the end of this, right? Like you say it's one way and it's all Eigel's fault, but you always voted with the Democrats.
I think these people better wake up. If they didn't hear the loud voice that was spoken on November 5th, and understanding the vast majority that Republicans are, and true conservatives and true red-blooded patriots, if they haven't heard that, they need to wake up.
Yeah.
And they need to hear it
They're
now.
in too
And you
deep.
guys need to help them hear it and put the bullhorn in their ears and say, we're watching you.
Yeah, we are.
We're watching you. And we voted for you. Well, there again.
Maybe.
Anyway, so we just need to keep the fire to these guys' feet and say, hey, we're watching you. We're watching you, Lincoln Huff, and your horrible voting record.
Well,
You know,
and this
so-
is the thing that makes me mad is they don't care. They're in too deep right now, right? There is no pulling back from what they've already. So it's like you're in the middle of like this long drawn out plot of corruption, right? And you're
Right.
at the very end. It's happening at the federal level too,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But you're at the very end, and then all of a sudden somebody turns the lights on. And you're like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
But
Finish
you got to
up.
keep going.
Finish
yeah,
up.
right. So we'll move from this, and now we're going to go into a little bit more hope, right? So these are our hope. These are some of the people that we can have some hope for in the Senate.
All right.
Also, Schnelting. I'm sorry, not doing well with that name, but he's a guy that came from the House. He's up in the Senate now. And we have actually a lot of high hopes for him, but I don't think he got any Senate seats or Senate chairs because of him being in freshman status or whatever. But Aaron Snelting, it's Snelting. And I'm sorry, man. I should have put you in here. I realized afterwards I didn't, but then I also didn't have any images because I guess they didn't. He didn't get a chair this year.
Oh,
so that's why
you took these off of.
I took this off the Senate, the Missouri GOP Senate. Twitter
page,
or X page.
And
you guys should follow that. It's telling you everything that's going on, when they adjourn, when they're coming back. It's a little publicist site, and I love to tag them and troll them at the same time. But anyway, so you have Mike Moon. Listen, hands down, my favorite individual in the Senate. Right?
Cool. I want to meet him.
Do you know what's crazy?
I haven't never met him.
While he was in the House. Mike Searpoint, right? So the bald dude that we showed last, the last one.
Yeah.
They came up to him because Mike Moon had this weird habit of every time that a vote would come up, he'd read the Constitution and see what he was allowed to do. Weird habit, right?
Oh gosh, yeah.
Mike Searpoint came over to him one day.
That's not what the club does.
And Searpoint came over and said to him, "You got to stop reading that book." Yeah, he was a leader. He was a leader in the House, and he actually came over to Mike Moon and said, "You got to stop reading that book.
You got to stop reading that book."
That's what these people think about you guys.
Well, because they don't fear being voted out.
Nope.
They don't have to fear it when they control the vote,
and they control the money. And listen. This show is going to open up a lot of eyes as far as what's going on here. A lot of eyes.
I'm telling you, these people, all they care about is power, control, power, and money. That's all they care about. They don't care about you. They don't care about your vote. They and they care about it enough to make it look like they care, but they don't have to. So if we don't get fair elections, and this will this will be something that I say a lot on this show because it is one of the most important things. It just really is. And
It's
so
true.
I don't want to beat that dead
It is the
horse.
most
But
important
when a situation like that comes up, what you're talking about, I want to point that out. I want to shine the spotlight on that because they don't care because they control the vote. Can you imagine? This guy just said, "Don't read the Constitution."
You got to stop reading that.
Stop reading that.
You got to stop reading that.
You better stop reading that.
You're out of the times here, buddy. You need to get in on the times. You got to stop reading that.
So all right, let's move on. Sorry.
No, you're good.
Yeah, I'm not sorry. If you guys, and again, let me say this too. If you guys have any questions, please type them in. I'll be watching this, and I really we want to bring you guys in. We want you guys to be engaged in this too with us. Okay. So don't be afraid to ask a question.
Agreed.
Of anything.
Agreed. So we're going to go in real quick, and I just want to kind of read this over. So this is the implementation of the DEIB in schools, okay? Yeah. So curriculum, integrating multicultural content, teaching about social justice issues. We already know that's the biggest buzzword ever. And using inclusive examples and lessons, right? So teaching the kids, brainwashing the kids how to be inclusive, defining inclusive for them, and then using it, as a cudgel to make these kids feel like they're either oppressors or oppressed. Either way, everyone loses, right?
Yeah.
Professional development, training teachers on cultural competency. Who is writing this stuff, right? The enemy is who's writing all this stuff.
Marxism.
And yes.
That's what it is.
Anti-biased education.
Exactly what it is.
And inclusive teaching strategies, policy and practice, reviewing and adapting school policies, so on. Community building, support systems, assessment and adjustment. So regularly evaluating the effectiveness of DEIB initiatives and making adjustments based on feedback from students, parents, and staff. In other words, do you understand that you should have white guilt? Oh, you don't understand it yet? We got to go harder, right? So now we're going to have to do it. We're going to have to do even more of this. We're going to have to talk about this. This beautiful young black child, do you understand that you are oppressed and you come from oppression?
Yeah.
No, you don't feel that way. You feel like you're independent. You feel like you're an American. You can make your own way. We've got to teach you better than that.
We got to try harder.
Yeah, I hate that. It's just horrible.
It is.
So, but what this is what's great. So I tell you, God helps me put all this stuff together because it just starts flowing. So the Marxist stuff, where does it come from? How does it come into play? We're going to find out. Okay. So you see these RINOs, you see what they vote for. They vote with the Democrats. They vote for DEIB, diversity, equity, inclusion. And I really think a lot of Democrat voters despise this just as much. I have some really good Democrat friends.
Yeah.
And they despise this stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
I think when you really take a deep look into it, you see what it's really about. Of course, we want everybody to feel like they're welcome.
When I was in school, though, everybody was. And I was in the melting pot in Florida, in Central Florida, and we had Mexicans, Puerto Ricans, blacks, whites, no problem.
And you know what covers that? The golden rule.
Yeah,
that's all we need to teach.
Love thy neighbor as thyself.
That's all you need to teach.
Right, because like Jesus said, that's the
diversity,
fulfillment
equity,
of the
inclusion.
law.
Let's separate everybody by race and color. And
not only that, it's antithetical to Republican form of government, equality under the law. Everybody gets treated the same. Yeah. Everybody is the same opportunities to take advantage of, right?
All created equal.
Same law, same discipline, same everything, right?
By the Creator.
Right. Okay. So, anyways, doing this legislative update stuff has been really, really eye-opening for me, and I'm starting to notice all this progressive social justice / criminal justice reform, right? And this criminal justice reform is coming in through, guess who? Republicans. So, Josh, if you pull this one up right here, we got Representative Chad Perkins, okay? HB 916, it says establishes certain protections for pregnant offenders. Oh, okay, right? But then when you look at it, so first and foremost, let me tell you, this is the Republican pro tem speaker. So he's the speaker's backup. So he's second in command in that sense, right? Now you have the floor majority leader too. That's Alex Riley. He's got a lot of authority and power as well. But this is the backup guy. For
who did we just put in the speaker?
We didn't put anybody, but they put in Patterson.
Who did they just in?
Patterson. And this is who his backup buddy is.
Yeah.
Okay. Now look at this. The title of the bill says establish certain protections for pregnant offenders. So like I was saying in my video today, okay, that makes sense. You know, if a pregnant woman goes to jail, she needs to have a little bit different treatment, not because of her, but because of the innocent child in her womb, right? Fine. But do you know what else is in here? These jerks decided to strike all of the prohibitions for SNAP benefits, so food stamps, for felony drug and drug trafficking convictions. So in other words, if you, pursuant to the option granted to the state under 21 U.S.C. Section 862 AD 1, an individual convicted under federal or state law of a felony offense involving possession, distribution, or use of controlled substance shall be exempt from the prohibition contained in 21 U.S.C. against eligibility from supplemental nutrition assistance and program for such conviction. AKA, if you get arrested and convicted of drug possession, felony drug possession, right? Felony drug trafficking, and felony drug, anything to do with felony drugs, trafficking, possession, or consumption. And we're talking about crack, heroin, fentanyl, cocaine, right? We're not talking about weed.
Right.
Okay. Any of these, guess what? We want to waive that, and we want to make sure that you can still get food stamps. So even though that you've trespassed on the public by bringing in these deadly drugs and peddling them and probably giving them to our children, we still want to reward you with the people's tax dollars to allow you to keep filling up your fridge so you don't really have to worry about that aspect and you can keep doing whatever else.
Wow. That's
a Republican, dude. Right?
Yeah.
What are these people doing?
It's a RINO.
I mean, they really are. So this cat, right? So this is where the whole Arnolds come into play, okay?
Okay.
So we're going to move down to the next slide. This is meet Texas billionaire quietly becoming the new George Soros. Well, it's not as quiet anymore. John Arnold has spent nearly $50 million on progressive criminal justice reforms. A Texas billionaire is on track to replace George Soros as the largest donor in the fight to remake America's criminal justice system. Okay, now get this. So I go and I'm doing a little research, And Arnold Ventures is kind of the thing he operates under. Criminal justice reform initiatives. He operates under a bunch of different things, but this is one of them. It says, yes, there are connections between George Soros initiatives and the Arnold family, particularly through their respective philanthropy and political influence efforts. Here are some key points based on available information. Funding overlap. Both George Soros and the Arnolds have funded some of the same organizations or causes, though the degree of overlap can vary. And then you have this MapLight thing, you have this Global Witness thing.
And
we won't go into
who's
that.
John Arnold?
He's the guy we just looked at. So he's this guy. He is a billionaire that has heavy influence in our state.
Okay.
Okay.
So
now,
he's kind of the foot soldier for George Soros.
No. He is trying
his
to.
own.
He's trying to be the next George
Soros.
Yeah. So you can see similar causes. Both Soros and the Arnolds have supported causes related to criminal justice reform, though their approaches and the extent of their funding might differ. So Arnold Ventures has been noted for its significant funding in criminal justice reform, similar to Soros's effort in supporting progressive prosecutors and bail reform. Okay. However, while Soros is known for his direct funding of candidates, Arnold Ventures focuses more on research and policy development. Two sides of the coin, right? The prosecutors themselves and then the policy. So they're both working for the same initiatives in the end. Now, political strategy and influence. There's commentary suggesting that John Arnold might be seen as the next George Soros due to his approach to philanthropy and political influence, particularly in how he employs former Republican staffers to push for policy changes traditionally seen as left-leaning. Political recruitment. John Arnold's strategy includes hiring influential Republicans to potentially sway GOP lawmakers toward policies like criminal justice reform, which has led to comparisons with Soros' influence on the Democratic side. Now, you know what's funny is it was told to me, I don't know, a couple months ago, you know who was down there supposedly, allegedly with them? Caleb Rowden, our old pro tem of the Senate. Does that not, now that we see what this says, because I didn't understand it back then, but then I go and do some research and I'm like, oh my God, the Arnolds start recruiting people, Republicans and staffers, to get left-leaning policy pushed through the GOP.
Yeah.
Now, we have term limits in the state house, right? So what does that mean? That means the staffers and the consultants are the actual power brokers, because the staffers don't have term limit, right?
Right.
And the lobbyists and consultants don't either. So they learn the system and they start working together, and then they recruit the puppets to come in and fill those positions.
Wow.
Right? That's exactly how it works.
And with a controlled vote.
Yeah, exactly right. And so going back to this general philanthropic strategy, both have a history of using their wealth to influence policy, with Soros being more vocal and public in his support for liberal causes, while the Arnolds have sometimes claimed to be bipartisan, though critics argue that they lean left on many issues. While there are clear connections in terms of funding the same organization and support similar policy areas, the relationship between the Arnolds and Soros is more about parallel efforts in philanthropy yep, rather than direct coordination. Their methods and public personas in philanthropy differ, with Soros being more openly aligned with progressive politics and the Arnolds attempting a more nuanced, sometimes bipartisan approach. So, this is a very heavy influence. Now, what's crazy is you'll see some connections to the Blunts here in a little bit, but the reality is the way they can do this, right, is they can kind of like pull back and not lobby and therefore not file, right, so that you can't see reports of what they're doing and so on, because if they're hiring somebody else to go be their mouthpiece for them, right, then there's kind of a web of unknowns, right, and kind of loopholes about reporting and different stuff like that. If as an example, if Caleb Rowden can just pick up the phone and call somebody and bring something up, that's not lobbying. We're just friends.
Yeah.
Just the same way as that these guys can go to socials and consultants and lobbyists to be there, and no one has to report anything because it's just the social guys, right? This is how they get through these loopholes.
Wow.
Yeah. So that the Arnold family is one doing a lot of this, pouring a lot of money in here. So is Rex Singfield, right? So is Steve Tilley, which he seems to be kind of like a hybrid, because he was the House Speaker and now he's a consultant. And then I don't know if he kind of like, he is very, from what I understand, he's very motivated, entrepreneurial, if you will. And I think he's expanded himself. The guy...
who's that?
Steve Tilley.
Steve Tilley.
Yeah, Steve Tilley. He used to be the House Speaker, and then he got out of that. And then supposedly, from what I've heard from people, is Tilley's the kind of guy, like if you get him on your side, he can drop like $5 million in your campaign overnight.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. So Schmidt went to Tilley, right? I don't know if Hawley did or not. Most likely. I don't think anybody, like, it's crazy. They got a stranglehold on everything.
Yeah.
You can't get out of here if you don't go to people like that.
Right.
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 So anyways, so now we're going to move into how it connects to the blunts. And with seeing all this great, the bust of Roy Blunt being unveiled at the Capitol, and he's been such a great guy. This guy is absolutely, he's horrible.
Wow.
What has he done for Missouri? He started as Secretary of State. Well, he started in the House, and then he went to the Secretary of State, and then he went to the House, Congressional House, and then he moved into the Senate, right? And ever since then, he's been in Missouri politics since 1985, I think it is, right?
Okay.
So,
Wow.
everybody's talking about Roy Blunt. If you go to Mizzou, there's a big building named after him, right? Like, he's got all of these accolades,
Wow.
right? And he hasn't done anything for the people. It's always the special interest money, whether it's the schools, whether it's the hospitals, whether it's some type of agency or public entity. It's never the people, right?
Yeah, but he was banned from the Missouri GOP dinner after backstabbing Trump with an anti-wall vote.
Yeah.
So when was that?
So let's pop that up, Josh. So this is Senator Roy Blunt banned from Missouri GOP dinner after backstabbing Trump with anti-wall vote. This is March 18th, 2019.
2019.
So do you guys remember when Trump said we have a border emergency? We need to declare emergency. We need to shut down the border. We need to build a wall, right? Roy Blunt said, no, you don't. It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
It's not that big of a deal. No worries.
Wow.
So he votes against it. He helps kill the national emergency declaration, so we can't get the money we need. So that's why Trump had to work around him and go through the military, use the military funds to do it, and then not get the whole wall built, right? So Roy Blunt helped. He helped with the invasion. Listen, because y'all better understand it's going to happen. When things pop off here in the next few weeks, with all of these 750 known terrorists on the watch list that are at least are in here, right? And all the different things that are going down, all the different threats that are happening, right? When that happens, remember Roy Blunt. Remember this vote. Remember that this man sat in his position, in his office of trust as our trustee for our entire state. And he said, no, I'm going to allow this to keep happening, because the money that's lining my pockets and the favors that I'm getting are worth more than the blood of all these children that are being trafficked, that are going to be killed, that are going to be, well, I don't even say these other words because it might flag our content.
Right.
But you guys know what's going on. You know what's going on.
Yeah.
And Roy Blunt was all cool with that. Cool with that. Whatever works, right? What else, too? Look at this. Senator Blunt. Now he's on CNN. The guy goes on CNN.
Look at that face.
Yeah.
God.
Senator Blunt on 2020 election. I don't think it was rigged.
Yeah.
I bet you don't think it was rigged, buddy.
Yeah, because they've been putting you in your positions all this time.
For this entire time.
Why would they go against fair election or if they know they're getting their
Why
vote?
would they expose their
own their own crimes?
Right.
Yeah. But that's what emboldens them. That's why you go, how could they get away with this? That's how.
Right? Because they've had it all wrapped up for so long because we haven't been paying attention. So Senator Roy Blunt says he doesn't think the election's rigged. He also voted against the wall for the national emergency. His excuse was, I don't know, this would set a bad precedent. If you do this national emergency, then maybe if a Democrat gets in, they could take your guns. That's what his thing was. You know how long we've been doing national emergencies? Since the Lieber Code in the Civil War.
That's what I was going to say. Aren't we under national emergency like constant?
Yeah, we're in an authorization of war. Remember when Kavanaugh's hearing?
Yeah, that's how they get away with a lot of this. That's another way.
That's the way they keep the Federal Reserve together in the emergency currency.
Yeah,
we are operating under an emergency currency. Okay, literally, FDR declared an emergency. We got this money, right? This fake money. And it's propped up for 92 years. Since 1933, we've been operating under an emergency currency. Why? Because they keep putting on paper emergencies. Like the war on drugs.
Yeah.
That was an emergency.
Sure.
The war on poverty. That was an emergency. We just thought they were talking. They were
They just were
branding
trying to-
themselves, right?
yeah, like-
they were writing down on paper.
Noble causes.
Right.
These
They
are
were
just
writing down on
noble
paper
causes.
it was an emergency. So that's how this all continues to be propped up. And so Roy Blunt's like, no, we can't have that precedent, even though we've been in that precedent for over 100 years, right? So whatever, Roy Blunt.
So
you're a
discussing
liar,
the riots, anchor Margaret Brennan said, "Are Republican leaders going to hold him accountable in any way for it?"
All right, so real quick, she's talking to Blunt about the thing he's getting tried for, him saying that the election was rigged. Okay, keep going.
Oh, I see. Okay. And so that's Margaret Brennan right there,
Yeah.
too, right?
Yeah.
God, she's repulsive.
So it says, Blunt said...
So Blunt said, I think the country is right, is the right to hold... Is that supposed to be has?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the country has the right to hold presidents accountable. The president should be very careful over the next 10 days. Is that
his behavior?
Okay, yeah, they're throwing words in
Yeah.
on me. That his behavior is what you would expect from the leader of the greatest country in the world. My personal view is that the president touched the hot stove on Wednesday and is unlikely to touch it again. And this is about him saying that he thought the election was rigged, right? Yeah.
Now look at this.
He continued, I did the day Senator Hawley had announced he would be contesting those electoral votes, announced that I would not be. When I tell you, when Senator Cruz said he had a plan to put back in place a commission like the one formed in 1877, I said that wouldn't happen. I wasn't interested then or now in spending a lot of time on things that can't happen, just like the impeachment of the president to remove him from office clearly is not going to happen between now and the last day he is in office. So... God, this makes me so mad.
That's my goal. My goal is for you guys to remember who the hell these people are.
But
right?
It's easy to go on CNN
Yeah.
and say this stuff.
Sure.
Yeah, go on Fox and try to get away with that and expose yourself for who you really are.
Right.
And there again, that's what we're here for. That's what we're doing. We want to help you guys really see the light and who these people
So to
really
reiterate,
are.
what did he say? He said, Trump better watch himself.
Yeah.
Right? You touch the stove, he won't do it again. Like that
Like
reminds
he's got
me of
power over Trump.
That reminds me of that statement by what was his name? What's the senator on the Democrat side? What's his name? Schumer. When he was like,
Oh, yeah.
you've messed with the intelligence community. They got 7 ways to Sunday to
ways
get
to
back at
Sunday.
you, right? Yeah. And it's like, oh, you touched the hot stove. Do you know about DC? Oh, these people are
gosh,
sickening, dude. So, anyways, so this guy, I wanted to set the precedent so you understand who this person is and what we're about to move into. So the next thing is, this is awesome because this lady from the Christian County Republican Central Committee is fantastic. She said, I am so disappointed. So this is her writing to him, and he's uninvited to the Lincoln Days dinner or Reagan Days or whatever it was. So she said, I am so disappointed in you now that I can hardly speak, wrote Wanda Martins, a member of the Christian County Republican Central Committee, in an email to Blunt's office. Why could you not support my president in the emergency declaration? President Trump tried every available means to work the Senate to resolve the border issue and build the much-needed wall. He is well within his presidential powers to do this.
Yeah.
Martin serves as the local committee's events chair. She told the senator in her email, which was obtained by the Kansas City Star, that she did not want to see him when the local party holds its Lincoln Trump Day dinner on April 6th in Ozark, Missouri, one of the most conservative areas in the state. Thank you so much, Wanda
Yeah.
Martins.
Way to go,
You're the
Wanda.
type of individual that we need around here. And so you
That's
can see
right.
they fought against the wall. They fought against everything that Trump was trying to do because they already had this plan. Remember, it was a 16-year plan, 8 years with Obama, 8 years in Hillary, right?
Right.
Thank God Almighty that we got Trump in on those 4 years.
Amen.
To reverse all those things, but they fought tooth and nail against him.
Someday,
right?
someday I'd like to go over my whole theory on that, but at another time.
Right on.
I've got a
that'd
whole,
be a
I got
that'd be a 3-day
20-year
live.
Yeah, I got a 20-year theory about how all this happened, how it came in from the military background. I think there's some serious military people involved in this.
What Trump said. I mean, Trump said over and over again that the military, the generals, were the ones who came to him and recruited him to run.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay, so all of that to
Moving
say, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
yeah.
Okay.
So here's Andy.
So now we're going to go into Andy Blunt. So Andy Blunt is the son of Roy Blunt, not to be confused with Matt Blunt. Now remember, Matt Blunt was your governor.
Right.
Right?
Okay.
Andy Blunt is his brother. Okay. Now Andy Blunt is a much more predominant individual in D.C. and in Missouri.
Okay.
So he is the chief executive officer and executive chairman of Hush Blackwell Strategies. Okay. Hush Blackwell is also a law firm. We're going to get at that in a minute. But you can see down here, it says down there, the red underline, clients continue to turn to him for help managing a crisis, polishing a brand, and understanding how government works and how to make it work for them. Right? We all know what that really means. So, Hush Blackwell, on the bottom portion, Hush Blackwell Strategies. Blunt is the CEO of Hush Blackwell Strategies, a lobbying and public affairs. The firm was established in 2018 with the merger of 3 government affairs practices of Hush Blackwell LLP, which is the lawyers, right? The State House Strategies, which was Andy Blunt's, and then Cloakroom Advisors LLC. Cloakroom.
Okay.
Does that not sound like shady?
Yeah.
Okay.
The cloakroom.
So the
where you
guy
can go disappear.
Yeah. So Hush Blackwell Strategy has 12 offices nationwide: Arizona, Arkansas, Colorado, Kansas, Maryland, Missouri, Nebraska, Oklahoma, Texas, Wisconsin. A federal practice group in Washington and HBS Public Affairs Group based in St. Louis. U.S. Senator Roy Blunt chairs the firm's Leadership Strategies Advisory Services Group in Washington.
Oh.
So he's not gone.
Yeah, he's still there.
Hush Blackwell Strategies launched its public affairs group in 2024.
Pulling strings. This is what you were talking about, the puppet strings.
Yeah, so Bloomberg government included Hush Blackwell Strategies in its annual list of top performing lobbying firms in Washington. HBS has been included on the list since the firm was established in 2018 when Bloomberg named it the top new startup of the year. The firm ranked among the top quarter of firms of Washington reporting $1 million or more in lobbying revenue in 2023. Now, look, he did Mitt Romney. He was a political strategist and lobbyist and advised 2 presidential campaigns, Mittens Romney and No Name McCain. Wow. Goodness. So let's move on a little bit. So Andy Blunt is the chief executive officer of Hush Blackwell. He's the son of former Senator Roy Blunt. Born in Springfield, moved to Jefferson City with the rest of the Blunt family when he was elected Missouri Secretary of State. Blunt has served as the principal advisor, here we go, to his brother and father, as well as Mike Kehoe.
Oh. How about that?
Andy holds a Juris Doctor degree from the University of Missouri in Columbia. He received a Bachelor of Science from Southwest Baptist University in Bolivar, Missouri. Andy and his family live near Middleburg, Virginia. And just so you know, Middleburg, Virginia is less than an hour drive to D.C. Okay?
Oh, well, yeah.
Now, with that being said, does that not make sense as to why half of our budget is federally funded? Because he has, let me keep going. So Cloakroom Advisors was a federal lobbying firm founded by Greg Hartley in 2014, who previously served as vice chairman and chief operating officer of Cassidy and Associates and as chief of staff to then Congressman Roy Blunt.
Oh.
The firm specialized in providing federal government relations and public affairs supports to organizations aiming to influence federal public policy and governmental actions. In 2018, Cloakroom Advisors merged with Hush Blackwell Government Affairs Team and State House Strategies to form Hush Blackwell Strategies, a comprehensive government affairs joint venture. The merger combined the strengths of the 3 entities to offer a full suite of federal and state legislative government affairs and consulting and lobbyist services. Right? So they do both. They are back and forth between the both. They have.
So Andy's the CEO of this company.
Yes. And he's also a lobbyist.
And a lobbyist.
Yes. Now, are they still in Missouri? Do they have influence in Missouri? Check this out. Here's Governor Kehoe announces his staff appointments, right? So you see right here, it says, I've known and worked closely with many of them for years. The chief of staff, who is in charge of hiring everyone under you, okay? Adam Gresham served, right, in the Governor Blunt administration. Okay. Then we have Deputy Chief of Staff, Policy and Legislation, Bill Anderson. He's the state legislation at the Missouri Hospital Association. right? These guys,
He's the president.
The president of state legislation at the Missouri Hospital Association. Those guys are bad news.
Oh, that's
right?
big money there, baby.
Director of policy under Governor Matt Blunt.
And director of government. Okay.
So Blunt again. Then we go down here, general counsel, right? So the general counsel, which means the law counsel, the chief attorney in the office, right?
Okay. That's Lowell
more than
Pearson.
30 years of experience navigating intersection in business and government. And he's the deputy director of revenue and the general counsel to Governor Matt Blunt. And then the legislative director, Drew Dampf, most recently worked for the majority floor leader in the Senate, who is who? Cindy O'Loughlin.
Oh.
So we have the Blunts back in office,
It's
back
funny
in
how
power.
all the same names always pop up.
Right.
Barbara Smith said anytime there's something brought forward to block personal property tax, Andy Blunt is there to make sure it doesn't happen.
Right. And so let's just okay. So we put it together. The Blunts are in control right now. Okay.
Yeah.
The Roy Blunt, it was a traitor.
So they're behind the scenes.
Roy Blunt was a traitor. He wouldn't fund the wall. He wouldn't allow the wall to be built.
Right.
National emergency. He would not contest the electoral votes of what we now know was absolutely a stolen election.
Absolutely.
Right. And then he talked trash about Trump.
Yeah.
And then he didn't run again in 2022. I wonder why.
Yeah.
But on top of that, right, then the staffers, his son, is involved in all this mix. And then everybody on the staff, every major position on Governor Kehoe's staff are Blunts. Like Blunt acolytes that came from that previous administration.
Wow.
Okay? Now, we're going to go over to
their fingers are still...
Oh, dude, they're controlling everything.
Yeah.
So, we're going to go over to the next one. So this is, if you go to mec.mo.gov,
Government's
absolutely, it's racketeering, it's organized crime.
The front, man.
Right. Well, listen, it's a trust. It's a trust,
Yeah.
meaning it's a business model.
Yeah.
And so they took it over. So this is this is his MEC report. And this is, so what you do is you go to mec.mo.gov in the top header area, you'll see it says lobbyist. Click lobbyist. And once you click lobbyist, then you can go and search these names.
And MEC means what?
Missouri Ethics Commission. It's the same concept as the Federal Ethics Commission,
Okay.
which has everything to do with oversight of lobbying, consulting, and campaign funds. Okay.
Okay.
So you can see
And this is what Luke DeMeyer's going to be in charge of now, the ethics committee
no,
chair?
so no, it's like a little bit different. So it
Okay.
wouldn't be the MEC particularly. It's like ethics in general. Anything that has to do with any legislation that has to do with those topics of like ethics and so on, right?
He'll have some say in that.
He'll have all say. He's the one that can
He's the
decide if it
chairman.
comes up. Like if it. So the chairman's the one who decides if it's going to go on the table and be discussed. And if he
Gotcha.
just sits on it forever, it dies.
Gotcha.
Right.
Yep.
So look at all the different. These are the principles. So when you go into his area, right, and look at his lobbyist record, you can see his principles. Principles are the ones that are paying special interest. Okay.
Okay.
So you have Altria Client Services LLC and its affiliates: Philip Morris USA Inc., John Middleton Co., U.S. Smokeless Tobacco, Helix Innovations, right? Apollo Global Management, BDT Capital, BNSF Railway, Casey's General Stores, Conduit Inc., Constellation Energy, Expedia, Fabius Pharma Holdings, Hush Blackwell, which is his, of course. And then you see Microsoft Corporation. You see Meta Platforms, right? You see all kinds of different stuff with the Missouri Automobile Deal. Everything, look at that. Look, Missouri Asphalt Pavement Association, Missouri Automobile Dealers Association, Missouri Coalition of Community Mental Health Centers, Missouri County Collectors Association, County Collectors. That's why he gets in the way. Good shout out to whoever that was that said that in our comments.
There you go, Barbara.
Barbara, great shout out.
There you go.
He's
That's
a part,
why.
He's the Missouri County Collectors Association, right? Missouri Health Connection, Missouri Hospital Association, Missouri Marine Dealers Association, Molson Coors Beverage Company, Republic Services, Scientific Games, Sheriff's Retirement System, Tenaska, University of Missouri System, U.S. Strategic Metals, VRBO. Guys.
So these are the guys that are paying in to the Missouri Ethics Committee?
We could say, no. No, these are the guys that have hired Andy Blunt to lobby for them.
Okay.
Missouri Ethics Committee is where it all has to be reported.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So that's where we're finding it.
Okay, gotcha.
So think about this. He's the chief political advisor or the political strategist or whatever, policy advisor for Kehoe. I don't know if he still is, but obviously Kehoe's staff is completely surrounded by Blunt people, okay?
Yeah.
And then these are the people that are paying the Blunts. So that means all of these people have the ear of our governor.
Gotcha.
Right? And whoever's going to pay the most is going to get the most progress.
Who do they pay directly?
They pay him
Or his
to go
company?
lobby. No, because his company's on there, Hush Blackwell. So he also owns Hush Blackwell, CEO, CEO,
they're
whatever.
paying Andy directly
As a lobbyist.
Correct.
And Hush Blackwell is also working.
And it
with
has
these
to be
people.
reported.
Correct.
And the Missouri Ethics Committee
Correct.
reports that, and
Correct.
that's what we're looking at.
Right.
Thank you.
So these are all the people that have the ear of Andy. They're in his pocket because they're paying him, and he has the ear of Kehoe. And to be honest, man, like I'm not even saying like he's corrupt, right? He just has no allegiance to anything else but money,
Yeah.
right? So
so look at this. This is again the power of committees, our local committees. I love this. This is awesome, guys. This is so important. Show up to your committees once a month. Go, just be a part of it. You'll be shocked if you've ever asked yourself, "What am I going to do about it? What can I do?" Go to your committee every month. Find out where it is and go. In 2018, Blunt. This is Barbara. Thank you again, Barbara. 2018, Blunt announced he was going to run after he couldn't get an invitation to several important Lincoln Day dinners. Blunt announced he was not going to be running again.
see, they have to get support. They have to get support.
Yeah, and at least has to look like they have support.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like it is so we don't understand the power of public perception.
Yeah.
Right. We think like Tammy Thompson, right, and Tim Thompson, the the RINOs over at our Republican Central Committee, right? They say that resolutions don't work anymore. They're useless. They're a byword. The reason why they don't want to do resolutions is because they don't want to rock the boat. They don't want to put out public statements.
Right.
They don't want to be sovereign and independent of the party itself and say, we're going to stand on these principles.
Right.
Right.
This
They want
is
to
who
toe the
we
line.
are. This is the people we represent. Right. this is. And there again, that's why it's important to go to the committee and go talk to the chairman of the committee. And when they see that presence, people, I'm telling you, when they see the people in these committees meetings, the eyes are on them, the lights are shining, and they fall in line.
They do because they have to.
They have to.
They've been getting away with it because we thought they were our bosses, right?
Yes.
So they don't want to do things like that. It's a good example, right? So like when Tammy Thompson, when Bill Eigel was leading the filibuster on the floor of the Senate in order to bring up IP reform, because he knew they were going to wait until the end of the session and then kill it, right? So he was fighting to get IP reform because he knew that Amendment 3 was coming, right? And so a friend asked Tammy Thompson, why don't you support them and put out a resolution? And her flippant response allegedly was, well, I'm frustrated with their filibuster because they're holding up my appointment confirmation hearing for my pharmacy board appointment. Right?
A selfish reason. A selfish reason on a
It's
very
way more
issue.
important than the blood of the unborn.
Right.
So, anyways, and these people, they continually go around. This is how they work, guys. They continually go around and they continually talk bad about us, right? They continually call us cult members. They call us insurrectionists. All of this stuff because they can't keep it together.
The Josh Davidians the
Josh
best.
Davidians, dude, it's so ridiculous,
I love it,
dude.
I love it. I
So
think
ridiculous.
what happened to the Branch Davidians was one of the most horrible atrocities, way worse than J6 ever was.
Right. Absolutely. Well, and the
What
thing
they
is,
did to those people.
Yes,
So yeah,
they-
proudly I'll wear that badge.
Well, do you see what they're calling
Davidian.
us though? When they say that kind of stuff, they're trying to label us as domestic terrorists.
Right.
Like that's the audacity these people have, that they would rather label us as something that could actually get my family hurt.
Yeah.
But they want to be able to do that. Oh, and then when I was losing my vehicle because I lost my job because I didn't take the COVID thing, right? She was going around telling everybody, allegedly, she was going around telling everybody, oh, did you know Josh is about to lose his truck and get it repossessed?
Yeah.
How low do you have to be to do these type of things?
That's horrible.
But these are the type of people we're dealing with, and all you have to do is stand up for something. If you
Right.
just stand up for principles and stand up and raise a standard, they get pissed because they can't reach that standard.
Right.
So they're just continually trying to pull you down.
Well, and I
right?
think they're just the haze that's over their eyes is that they think that they're the majority because
they're not.
because the media has brainwashed everybody to think
Right.
that we want DEI, we want cultural Marxism, we want all this nasty stuff,
Right.
and everybody thinks that they're the majority because they had the loudest bullhorn. Well, they don't anymore. And that's going away. And we're entering the golden age starting Monday, baby. Starting
right.
Monday.
That's
we're going
right.
into the golden age.
That's right.
And I truly believe that we're going to see some of the most incredible things that this country's ever seen.
The
And
world,
I
man.
pray to God that they cut the head of the snake off, and that is the Federal Reserve Bank.
Yep.
That is the head of the snake, and it's got to come off. If the Fed doesn't go away, none of this
changes.
goes away.
That's right.
We might be able to suppress it for a little bit,
But they'll come right back.
They will come right back. And how do they do it? Money.
Yep.
That's what we're showing
They
you
control
right
the entire
now.
system.
That's exactly what Josh is showing you guys right now. We're shining a spotlight on how the money works, how the power works, and that's getting ready to change. But and I will just say this as a highlight on U.S. national news that Trump just established the External Revenue Service.
Because he's going to get the revenue externally instead of pillaging the people.
That's right. We don't need an internal revenue service.
Yeah.
We need an external revenue service.
Imagine if you guys get an immediate 20 to 25% pay raise.
Dude,
Wow.
it's going to be huge.
You're going to talk about lifting people out of poverty, giving people opportunity, injecting money back into the economy. Woo, boy.
Yeah.
We're going. We're
Yeah.
going there.
25.
Okay, so
Yes.
with Blunt, we go one more slide on this. So Andy Blunt, the founder and chairman of State House Strategies, will join Hush Blackwell Strategies as chairman of the board and chief operating officer. Blunt will focus primarily on expanding the venture state level practices. Awesome. That really sounds great for us. He's done an excellent job here in Missouri. I cannot bash the guy's work ethic or his ability to get things done. He's obviously a very strong, forward-thinking businessman.
Yes.
Unfortunately, he's got a playground of a bunch of weak, spineless gushies that don't have principles to stand on, right? So I just want to show you real quick. So Hush Blackwell LLP was who they all merged together. So remember, Andy is a lawyer as well, right?
Yep.
And he's also a lobbyist. This is how it works. I don't know if you guys saw the I think it was Theo Vaughn episode with Trump, but Trump said the most powerful lobby in D.C. is the lawyer lobby.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah. So let's look at this.
They
real
know
quick.
all the workarounds.
So this is just a page off of Hush LLC, Hush Blackwell's LLP page, the lawyer page, right? And look at this. Collaboration driven by diverse perspectives, diversity, equity, inclusion. Look at all the awards they have on the right-hand side, right? Equality 100, leader in LGBTQ plus workplace inclusion, tipping the scales, 2024 recognition of diversity, flexibility alliance. And then the next ones are best law firm for women and diversity, Mansfield Rule Certified Plus, and then Hush Blackwell honored by Leadership Council for Legal Diversity with 2024 Top Performer in Compass Awards.
Wow.
Guys, so listen.
Yeah.
This is the law firm that's a part of this, right?
Yeah.
That's their promotion, right? You've got Hush Blackwell Pride,
This is
HBBLAK.
Andy's law firm.
Well, this is Hush Blackwell LLP is a
Okay.
part of it. So they all merged together to make Hush Blackwell Strategy. So he's not technically a part of the law firm per se, but the law firm is a part of the strategies group, if that makes
Gotcha.
sense, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, come on.
I mean,
This
there's
is it.
still a giant string attached to all
So
of
you
that.
see, they're woke. The Hush Blackwell is woke, right? Andy Blunt
Yep.
is a part of it.
Yep.
They've got their staffers inside.
That doesn't sound like
the
something his
executive office.
Republican dad would be proud of, Josh.
It sounds like a RINO dad would be thrilled.
Yes,
Right?
that does.
So, so we see what's going on. We have woke. Now we wonder why. Why do we have DEI? Did you know every position in Missouri, every department in Missouri, has a DEI position open? DEI. What's going on, guys? Why is this conservative Republican, Kehoe, or Parson, why didn't they get rid of all this stuff?
We
Why
got
did
to
they keep
see
doing
what
it?
happened in L.A. when they allowed the DEI to take over for the last 20 years.
Yeah, it's disgusting. So and it's wrong for everybody involved, everybody that's affected by it, right? These guys make their money, so they don't care who's in office, right? It's just like if you're a Democrat state or a Republican state, we're just going to get a hold of whoever is there, right?
Well,
And
that's it.
so then there's one more blunt I
that's
didn't
what,
talk about. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, well, that's what, who was the guy's name? The new George Soros?
Oh yeah, we're about to circle back to
All
old
right,
John
here
Arnold.
we go. Here
right?
we go.
So we're gonna look at this is Amy Blunt, right? And so she is the sister and the daughter of Andy, daughter of Roy, and she is also a lobbyist. Okay. Now on the left hand side, you can see her principles, right? Agent corporations.
So these are all the people she lobbies for.
On the left-hand side, they're the active ones. On the right-hand side are the recently inactive ones that she has before. But look at that. Look at those names.
Yeah. AG Incorporation, Bear, Smokeless Tobacco, HNTB, BlackRock Funds.
Hushwell Blackwell, LLP, so that woke law firm we just showed. The Missouri Internet and Television Association, Meta Platforms, Missouri Motion Media Association, Nucor Steel, Othram, Prosperity, Practical Pocus, Raptor Technologies, Safer St. Louis LLC, and then Sheriff's Retirement
Arnold
System.
Ventures.
Oh, but you see that over there, duh.
Arnold.
So the inactive ones are the Arnold Ventures. So this is a connection between the Blunts and the Arnolds.
So they're not paying them anymore, though?
They clipped out in 2023. Don't know why. Maybe it shifted and they started doing it a little bit differently. I have no idea.
Probably a more secretive way to do it.
Or they got what needed to be done involved, or the money gets because they create all of these different entities and operate under different ones. Like Rex Sinkfield has multiple different entities he operates under. And that way, like what's funny is like he'll hire a consulting firm like Gamble Schlemeyer, right, which is a huge lobbying firm for Missouri and Washington University.
Okay.
Washington University, remember, has an abortion fellowship where they train abortion doctors on how to murder children and then send them out through the entire state. They were the ones that lost their minds when Mike Moon proposed an endowment tax of anybody doing things with abortion. It was going to cost them millions of dollars a year, right? And they dropped $2 million overnight into the Right Path PAC, okay, to destroy them, to destroy the Conservative Caucus. You know who got money from the Right Path PAC? Tony Lukemeyer.
Tony.
They do well, but he's also a part of the Graves Mafia, right?
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do Nothing Graves, Sam Graves. Remember how long he's been in office?
And he's
20
a lawyer
years.
too, right?
Sam?
No, Luke DeMeyer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. His wife, Jacinda, is a lawyer. She actually was she's a very intelligent, graduated with honors. I think she's a partner.
I don't take away any intelligence from these people.
Oh, no. I was giving Jacinda
very,
praise.
Very intelligent.
I don't have anything negative to say about Jacinda at all.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Barb was asking who owns Tim Taylor.
Who's Tim Taylor?
I don't know.
Like Toolman?
Toolman Tim?
I hope he's not bought and paid for. I liked his shows. I don't know. I'm sorry, Barbara. I don't know who Tim Taylor is.
We'll look into
But if you
it.
tell us, if you give us this is a lead, we will absolutely look into it and get back to it on maybe the next show if it's relevant.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we see the Blunts. They have all of the big names right under their banner, and then they are all in all the different positions, not only in the state but in the federal level. Okay.
Yep.
So that's the reason why I'm speculating. That's the reason why half of our budget is funded by the federal government.
Yeah. Our budget that's twice as much as Illinois' budget.
Well, twice as much spend per person. So they got 53 billion with 12 million. We got 51 with 6 million.
Yeah.
Right. So we are outspending them per person. Their budget's a little bit
by double.
higher, but we're doubling the spending. Yeah. Two to one basically on what they're doing.
Twice as much.
Okay, so lastly, we're gonna go into right here is circling back to old Justin Brown.
All right, Justin, what have you been doing?
So he's the chairman on the Committee on Emerging Issues and Professional Registration. So the purpose of this committee is tasked with considering and reporting on bills and matters related to recent trends and emerging issues that could impact the state of Missouri, like, bird flu or COVID or, anything. So this is the way that they get they plant the seed, right? This is an emerging issue. We need to come up with this legislation. This company happens to fit the model, and we're going to bring them in. Remember how when Parson bought those saliva-based tests from the NIH?
Yeah.
Willie from Washington University, who got the money from the NIH, who got that from Fauci.
Yeah.
When he did that, and they sent it all around, and he tried to put Don Kalroff in, right, to do the health passports, Shield T3 showed up and incorporated into Missouri. Shield T3 was the same company that Don Kalroff's wife helped get the contract with Illinois to do the track and trace program.
Wow. That's why I love you, dude.
It's crazy.
You can spit that stuff out so good.
Well, I have a really excellent source too, and that individual really deserves props. They know who they are.
Well,
can't say anything about who they are,
but you have the bear trap mind that can spit it out and tie it all together, and I love that.
Fair enough.
I love it.
Bear trap mind.
Bear
like
trap,
that.
baby.
So anyway, so you can see then they have to. It focuses on legislative responses to new and evolving societal, technological, or economic challenges. Right.
Yeah.
The only hope for me in this entire committee is Mike Moon, because Koenig he screwed the pooch when it came to, I forget what it was. It was IP reform the year before, I think. Mm-hmm. And he was supposed to be a champion. He fell off. I don't know how they got to him. And then Nick Schroyer is a fake. So, because he supported Amendment 3, not the abortion amendment, but the prior Amendment 3 for recreational marijuana.
Right.
But it wasn't about the marijuana. It was about putting chief equity officer into the Constitution.
We wanted to reword that. That should have been. But you know what? That's how they trick everybody, and they get everybody all. We're going to pass the new law, so we're going to make marijuana legal.
Right.
They'll tell you all the little things that they tag on to it.
Well, what's funny is, like Rick Pogue and somebody else, I forget the dude's name, they were all blasting me when I was alone on Twitter, right? They're all coming after me and calling me an idiot and all this other stuff. And then Allie actually looked into a couple of them, and she's like, well, what do you know? They all have medical marijuana licenses and dispensaries. And that passage of that amendment specifically gave the people who already had right
yeah, so
complete
they could
open
corner
door
the market.
So they went from a very small sliver of medical to the entire populace of adults.
That's right. Yeah.
And they wanted to make sure they got that. And so good old Schroyer was their do boy.
Yeah.
Did you know Schroyer also introduced an amendment, not an amendment, a resolution. He introduced a resolution to send our troops to Ukraine. He's supposed to be this conservative guy that understands what's going on, and I'm sure he's already out there. I'm sure you could go back and find some tweets of his or recently of him saying, we got to stop sending money to foreign countries.
Right.
Who got to stop it?
While he's voting for it. And
not even though introducing a resolution to do it, right? These are the type of people that we deal with.
God,
yeah.
How do they sleep at night, man?
Probably with a lot of Ambien. But yeah, so he introduced that, and I have a screenshot of it because people are watching all of you. That's the thing. I'm not just like, oh, I got all this information because I've just got this bear trap mind. Yeah, I mean I trap it.
No, I know,
but I get it. You know what I mean? Like everybody brings me the information.
Sure, there's a lot of people out there.
Oh, they have no idea. Yeah, people in their own camp.
Well, that's what I was saying earlier about. Yeah. We are the freaking mass majority. I think it's 70-30 all the way.
By and large.
But we have these people with money.
It's leadership positions.
And the love of money is the root of all evil. Yep. And so they'll do anything for money. And they'll be two-faced, and they'll lie to your face. And then they'll turn around and go create resolutions to send money to Ukraine.
It reminds me of that, it's that scripture, Psalm 12, which the Lord keeps giving me over and over again for what's been going on. And it's like, help, Lord, for the godly man ceaseth. For the faithful fell from among the children of men. They speak vanity, everyone with his neighbor. With flattering lips and with a double heart do they speak. Right? They're flattering you. But then Psalm 12. It says, the Lord shall cut off all flattering lips and the tongue that speaketh proud things, who have said, with our tongue will we prevail. Our lips are our own. Who is Lord over us? But you know what's wild? For the oppression of the poor, for the sighing of the needy, for the oppression of the poor, for the sighing of the needy. Now will I arise, saith the Lord. I will set him in safety from him that threateneth him.
Amen.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys better watch
Golden
out.
age, baby.
You guys better watch out because God is not playing any longer.
Yeah.
Your
And
time has run short.
be not deceived.
Be
God
not
is
deceived.
not mocked.
That's right. That's
For
exactly right.
whatsoever a man sows, that shall he also reap.
Amen.
Your time's coming. We want you guys. We want your intelligence to be on our side.
Yeah.
We don't want you to be
Repent.
two-faced and lie.
Repent.
For the kingdom of heaven's at hand. Come on board. Come
Repent
on over.
and we'll welcome you right on in.
Be set free, man.
But until you do,
Get off the heavy.
our mission statement, and it's the scripture God gave me when I first started, is Ephesians 5:11. Have no fellowship with the fruitless deeds done in darkness, but rather expose them. That is a command from the Word of God, and that's why we're here, guys.
That's it.
That's why we're here, and we've been told to be
make that
strong
our
and
scripture
courageous.
for
It's
right
on
now,
our
what?
website.
There you go. It'll be our motto scripture, though.
So yeah, it is. It absolutely is. Because I was wondering, is this something I should do, get involved in? And the Lord kept pressing it on me that yes, this is exactly what you do. I need people to rise up for me, stand in the gap, and do what needs to be done. And God promised that this is a season of conquerors and not a season of martyrs.
Amen.
So He told us to be very strong and courageous. Yeah. Only be very strong and courageous. Have I not commanded thee? Right?
Bold as a lion.
To be strong and courageous. So that's what we're going to keep doing. So when we look back at this with Justin Brown, right? So
Okay.
he's on this committee. And then at the very bottom, it says also, so the professional registration, it deals with licensing, oversight, and regulatory reforms. The committee's work directly impacts how professions are regulated and how state agencies function in Missouri. And then if we go back and we look at these, right, all of these companies are the ones that will want to know what the emergent issues are and how they're going to be regulated and what loopholes they can get in. And here's this little sliver of language that I want you to put in this omnibus bill so that it opens the door wide for us to do what we want to do, right? Yeah. This is how it happens. And do not mistake Justin Brown for having a brain, okay? This guy is a blunt muppet. They got their hands so far up his puppet hole that you don't even know. These guys, you know what these guys do? They just go and hang out at the bars and drink and eat and screw off.
Yeah.
And you know what's crazy is there's actually moles in there now.
Yeah.
There's actually moles in there now. So they don't even know. Like, you think James O'Keefe was on something?
Yeah.
There's a whole nother
level of...
Yeah. And it ain't even me. It ain't me.
No.
But it's happening.
I love it.
I hope you guys are minding your P's and Q's. Don't get too tipsy when you're talking.
I love it.
Okay, so
Well,
that's going to wrap up the show.
okay. What's the call to action today, buddy?
So, again, guys, get on X. We're going to start doing January 31st is going to be our first one. We're going to do monthly spaces. I also put out so much content on X compared to Facebook because of the ability to make threads and put things together and I find stuff. I'm literally I'm researching all day long, and as soon as I find something that's going together, I start piecing it together, and I just put it in a thread and put it out there so that everybody understands
cool
what's going on.
I've been watching it, and it's awesome stuff. And guys, please share, like, comment, and then we're gonna start doing a little bit more. And we don't like to ask for money, but we need it. So anything you can do to help would be awesome.
So if you go to our website, okay. So if you go to our website, in fact, I'm going to pull it up. So give me a second, and I'm going to push it over there, Josh. So RINOWatch.com.
Yep.
Okay. And Josh, if you go back to the slides real quick, I've got to take this down. Okay, give me a second. Coming back over, grabbing this, going back over. There is your MissouriRhinoWatch.com. So have no fellowship with the fruitless deeds done in darkness, but rather expose them.
Amen.
If you guys go right here to the contribute, right? If you go into the contribute, you have two options as far as the way to do it, right? You can do a one-time contribution from anything to $5 to $1,000. And then, so you can select either the amount, right?
Yeah.
And then you can do a one-time purchase, or you can also do a subscription. So if you do a monthly, so as an example, you can do $5 a month. This is selected as one time. You would just come down and select this as monthly, right? And then you come down here and you check out. When you check out, it will say monthly underneath. If you're doing a one time, it will say specifically one time. So I know this is a little bit confusing. I had a friend reach out and say, hey, we want to support you guys, which Reed and Natalie Stevens, I appreciate that very much. Ben Thomas, thank you very much for your contributions. But you can come in here and you can support us, guys. We are working for you.
Yeah,
we are 100% working for you. And a lot of the stuff that we do, man, I mean, this is for the show to keep the show going, but all the other content that I'm putting out on a regular basis, the daily floor calendar updates, letting you know what your legislation's doing, so you have preemptive ability to strike, right? All of that is going to be funded
Guys,
by
Josh
this.
puts an enormous amount of time and thought and effort into this stuff, so we really appreciate everything you do. And I mean, it goes straight back into making this
the
show
show.
happen.
Truly.
So it really does.
Yep.
So
And then last thing, guys, is just remember, we're in the post-Trump plan, right? We need to run for office. We need to get involved in our central committees. We need to get to the local county boards, figure out if there's any openings, right? And start organizing, right? Show up to our workshops that we're going to put on. We're going to put that out. We're going to start in the spring, mid-spring. We're going to make sure we're going to try and do it regionally. So we want to be able to do like, so for us over here, we want to do like Platte, Jackson, Clay, Grundy, Livingston. If we can get them all to come in into one spot, we can get a lot of people in and we can cover a lot more ground since we have not a lot of time to do it. So we'll give you more information about that, guys, but get on X, follow us at RINO Hunter 1776. And then what was yours again? Bojangles? What is it?
Johnny Q Cross.
Johnny Q Cross. I don't know why I thought Bojangles.
Johnny Q Cross.
Johnny Q Cross.
Yep.
And then, of course, RINO Hunter 1776 on X. Of course, if you're watching this, on Facebook, of course, please like our page, follow our page, share our page. And if you take our content and just text it to 5 people that you know are at the same like mind of you, it's exponential help for us, man. If you guys can't help financially, we completely understand. I was that way for a long time.
Totally. This is
but
not about
share
money
the content
whatsoever,
and get it
guys.
out there.
Let's push it out.
All right,
Let's
guys.
change the face of the political
Landscape,
horizon
yes.
and landscape of Missouri. We are on the precipice of fantastic things. We are the majority.
Yes.
We are, guys. We are the vast majority. And we, if you can help us push this information out, hopefully we can capture some other hearts and lives and minds and really help people understand what is going on in Jeff City.
I'm telling you. All right, guys. Thank you so much for your time. We love you. We appreciate everything. God bless you guys. For God and country. Missouri Rhino Watch, out.
Out.